Okay, so here we are. This is going to be our next project. We have 3 Ms Pacman. Well, one of these is actually a regular Pacman cab. Now 2 of these, this particular one and this one here, are going to turn into multicades. And the one over here is going to be restored back to original, which is Ms Pacman. That actually is going to be for myself in my game room. So we're going to go through the whole process of that. So basically this has already been gutted. This is how the customer brought it to me. So the T-molding has been removed. All the electronics have been removed. You can see this glass is just sitting here. And what we're going to start doing is going around and sanding down all the body. There is a kick plate that is right here. You can see on this one that's been removed, and we're gonna have to fix the wood down here on the bottom. We're gonna redo this edge and any imperfections, sand this all down, and it's going to get a full repainted and then new digital printed graphics. Now originally back in 1981 when these were produced, this was actually silkscreen. And you could see how the little bit of registration was off. But back then for mass production, that's how they did that. Now it could be done that way, but today with today's technology, you know, and my access to my printer, that's really not an option. Well, it's an option, but it's not the way we're gonna go. You can see here, this was all gouged up and this was wore out because people would hold their hand here with the other hand on the controller. So it's kind of funny to see that there's a lot more right-handed people than there are left-handed people, which we all know that anyway. There's some cosmetics up here. We're gonna paint the top and the back. So now it's been said to me that a lot of the back doors are missing on these machines because in a lot of the arcades, they would just remove them because they were so busy, they didn't want to have to keep messing with them. So I'm actually going to be CNC routing out new doors. Well, because this one here doesn't have a door. This one does have a door. So I'm actually going to be offering an accurate reproduction of these doors to the exact size and already painted. So that we're going to go through that process in this series as well. Now this one over here, we're still going to have to remove all the components, which I will go through that as well. We got to take this off the glass, the monitor out, the marquee, the door, and same process on that. Now on the Pacman, you can see that's got a slightly different shape to it. This is the original Pacman. So he still wants this to look like a Ms Pacman cab. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to adjust the art ever so slightly. If you look here on the edge here and here, this radius is more pronounced than on this. See how that's more subtle? So the Ms Pacman came in and went up. So now these lines from here and here. So this particular cabinet isn't as in bad shape. We have one little chip right down here, and I believe that was just from transporting it now. This has been painted, but we're gonna sand this back down and get it nice and smooth. And everything will be sprayed with a polyester urethane. So that's what we got. All right, so we're gonna work on that Pacman first. And the first thing we're gonna do, just because we're gonna be turning this back and forth, we're gonna take this monitor out. All the bolts have been removed, and basically it just will slide out. But we gotta be really careful with, you know, busting off this neck here. So that is what we're doing now. You can see here we got the monitor out, and it's got this bracket, so it's safe to set on the ground. So that is out of the way. Now one thing, if you're not familiar with, you don't want to be touching inside that wire because that thing will knock you on your ass. Okay, this is the inside of the Pacman, and this has been painted, but it's a little rough, so we're going to redo it just like we're doing this here. So we're going to remove this. We're going to remove this one speaker so that we just have basically a shell at this point. And You can see here we already started sanding it. We're using a DA. This is a radial. This spins around. This was my dad's body shop, so we have all the equipment that we need to take this job on with no issue. See my dad now, he's over here gonna remove that speaker, and then we can continue to sand inside here as well. Okay, so we have inside has been all DA'd, all on the inside black. The front has been sanded down. There's a couple tiny little spots here we're gonna fix. And here, a couple little dimples. Now, if you noticed on my Simpsons arcade, I used spackle because it was just MDF. It wasn't MDO and it wasn't painted. This has paint on it, plus we're gonna actually be repainting it. So we're gonna be using Bondo for this repair work, a different method in this situation. But this is the original Pacman cab. Okay, here you can see my dad has sanded this down. Any areas that have issues, mixing some Bondo, and we're gonna fill them up. Here, some different spots. You can see here I'm spreading the Bondo. See these spots. This is when auto body skills come into play, making this thing look good. The shop is pretty much a body shop, so we're gonna take care of this thing. Alright, here you can see my dad using the cheese grater, they call it. It's a really rough, show them what it looks like real quick. It's a really rough texture, just to knock off the main, initially, and then he'll go back with some different papers. But that is the first step that you do. It's not, I wouldn't say it's soft, but it hasn't completely hardened yet. So you want to hit that before it completely hardens. So it's something you got to stay on top of. You want to keep checking it, and then when it's hard enough that you're not leaving your fingerprint and you still feel slightly bit tacky, that's when you want to try to get that done. And then we'll probably go with 180 and then finish it with 220. And then these areas are going to be primed. I'm going to spray a high build primer over them, and that's going to take away any big scratches that the sandpaper left doing this process. And then once that's primed, then it'd be ready for the finishing. Here you can see a sample of a marquee. This is the material. It's a backlit material. Now the appearance of the print looks dark initially because I use a double saturation on the color. Now you look at it when it's illuminated. Well, this is up against the window. You can see it's hot pink. It's much better. So when it's illuminated, it'll be the true colors that it needs to be. Hey, what's happening here? I want to show you, this is an original marquee. You can see it's been all faded out. And we are going to replace it with one of my new translits, and I'm going to show you the process. Okay, you can see the old one and the new one. Now, there's two pieces of plexi here, and the material that I'm providing is in between the two. And it is backlit material, so we're going to put it in, and you will be able to see the difference. What's the old saying? Out with the old, in with the new. There you go. There is the finished product. You can see the colors are very vibrant and translucent as the light comes through. We're pretty much offering these for most arcade machines. I don't have every single title, but I have a good portion of them. I just need your custom size so that we can cut it to size. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.